Alrighty, so we're in Distributism Week, and today we're going to be talking about how to spread it, because hopefully at this point you're at least interested in distributism. Maybe it's worth a try, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody. That's the whole point. And so, if you're sold on it, and hopefully you are, if not, hopefully we'll get there one day. How do you bring that message forward, right? Because it's obvious for other ideologies. How do you spread it? Well, you just tell people this is what you're doing now, and you don't get a choice. That's how it goes. But for distributism, there's nothing forcing people to act that way, to believe that, to work in a system in which that is the goal, to have everyone be self-sufficient. Well, there's a lot of people in the world who don't want that, because if they're not self-sufficient, then they make more money. They make more money, they make more power, and if they have more power, then, well, they can do whatever they want. There's a lot of reason why individuals wouldn't like this system, because it's not necessarily great for any particular individual. But that's the irony of distributism. It's all about the individual, all about individualism, and yet at the same time, the whole reason to do this is because it's good for the community. It's good for other people. And that's the slight weirdness, the slight contradiction there. Not contradiction, but conflict. That's the word. The conflict is the ideology being individualistic. It's all about what you do, what you say, how you act, what you believe. And yet, the point of the ideology, the purpose, is to bring peace and prosperity to others, to everyone. So that way everyone can have a good time. So that way we can stop worrying about all of these issues of like, oh, this person doesn't have enough, they're having a hard time. Oh, this person, they're struggling and it's bad. Oh, this person doesn't have their rights respected and they're being oppressed. And oh, this person, they're being tyrannized and locked up. And all of these issues, the reason for distributism is to solve these societal problems. But you fix them, ironically, not by changing society, but changing yourself and trying to convince others to do the same. Not force them, but convince them. And that's why distributism never really caught on, right? Because it's easy for someone to catch on to your ideology if they breathe it and live it each and every day because you tell them to. It's very easy for them to understand it then. It's hard when it's something you can't show to someone. You can't tell them to do it. You can't force them into it. Because if you force them into it, they wouldn't be acting like an individual, and so it wouldn't be distributism. Because the whole point is that everyone does what they believe is best. And so they can follow you, but you can't force them into it. And so, this is what we're talking about today. How to convince people to be distributists, how to spread this ideology, how that works. And much like in the last video, I said, hey, distributism is a lot like Christianity. It fits very well into that. Well, how did Christianity spread, right? Christianity spread because people lived out its values, and other people who didn't know about it saw how great that worked out for them. That the Christians always did amazing, inspiring stuff. This is why we have all the stories of the martyrs. I'm not saying that you need to get martyred for distributism. It's about the individual. If you don't want to die, just, run, leave. This whole idea that you have to somehow be loyal to a government that hates you is ridiculous. If you're being persecuted, God's worth dying for. But some individualistic ideology? Probably not. So, you're not going to get martyrs for, hey, your life will be pretty chill if you just do this. Well, I feel like the guy with the gun disagrees, right? So it's not that. The living by example works, but maybe not to that extreme. But what else did they do? They taught. The whole model of Christianity is that you got a few guys that know what they're talking about, understand the faith. They go somewhere, they teach people around them. Those people see how applicable it is to their life, how helpful it is, how good of a message it is. They understand the greatness of God, and then there you go. You got a whole bunch of Christians. And so, obviously, this is ideology. This is not religion. There are some comparisons, but it's not the same. You don't believe this because of faith. You believe this because of results and evidence. Because this is something in the world. Ideology. Ideas. It's in the world. And so, there is no faith to this. There's no belief that there should be. This is 100% evidence-based. You think it through. You say, that makes sense based on what I've experienced so far. Let me try it out. And maybe it's hard. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. And this is why I think the best way to convince people is to show them the end result and get them excited about that. You see, one thing that is really exciting is all these different unique and special housing methods. You have like airships, right? Not airships. Earthships. That's the word. Earthships. Where the idea is you have a house that is in tune with nature and provides all of these different benefits to you and your family as you live in it. It gives you water, electricity, heat and cooling, and food, and like it's doing so much for you besides just being a house. And it's off-grid, so you're not reliant on other people. You see, this is a great example of how distributism could work. Doesn't have to be that way, but it could. It definitely fits, right? Now, why are those exciting? People don't care about being off-grid, right? They don't really care. But what they do want is they want success. They want to see themselves and their family thrive. Who wouldn't? And do you know why Earthships are so popular and such a cool thing? It's because every time when they show off the Earthship, there's this mosaic of reused bottles, like wine bottles, beer bottles, like they're just glass bottles. But they make it into something beautiful. And as the sun shines through, and all of the colors commingle and radiate light throughout the house, people see that and say, "Oh my goodness, that is beautiful. That is amazing. That is something worth working towards." And then you got all these perks in the house. But it's the windows up in front with the greenhouse and those glass blocks where they say, "Oh, look at how beautiful this mosaic is." It is the beauty of the place that sells it. It is practical second. And that is how you spread distributism. You show the beauty and the majesty of what can be accomplished by somebody. And that is what people desire. They want the simplicity and effectiveness that allows them to get that beautiful result. Have something fantastic, amazing, impressive, good. That's what they want. And so, if you're going to join me in this endeavor to maybe convince a few other people to be more distributist, to act more in that direction, then what you have to do is you have to show them the beauty of it. Because it's logical, yes. If you focus about improving your own life, your life will get better. Wow. Amazing thought, right? Like who could have come up with that? That if you work to improve your life might get better? Everyone knows that. The new thing is that when you wait for someone else to make it for you, it's not the same. Because the most beautiful part of the Earthship is that you build it with your own hands. Is that it's yours. You not only own it, you not only live there, you built it. You made it. It is yours at every level. You got the materials, you put it together with your own effort, and now you live in it and maintain it. You make it a great place because of all the things you put into it. And that is something that cannot be bought. This is why people are interested and intrigued when they see a conveyor belt that does complex manipulations of materials to come out with this cool product. Or maybe it's even a mundane product. But you see it and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But you know what's even more impressive? When someone is so skilled that they can do it on their own, with their own two hands. And time again, you will see that people are impressed with and infatuated with the idea that they, an individual, could make something so beautiful, even if it's irrelevant, even if it's not useful. The pursuit of beauty is what humans are all about. That's what's been imprinted on us by our Creator. That is why we even have artists. Because practicality says that the artist should starve. Because who needs a painting, right? The painting will not feed you or clothe you. But the reason we do art anyway, even though It doesn't put food on the table. It doesn't make your life better. Not in the practical sense, but in a spiritual sense, in an emotional sense, in a motivational sense. It's the only thing that can move your life forward, is beauty. That is what motivates us to live and grow and be more than we are now. And that is why the way to spread distributism is to show people the simplicity, the beauty, the wonder that is independence. Being able to do it on your own, through your own effort, and see how beautiful and how wonderful you can make things. Because it's one thing to see a forest and say, oh wow, look at how great that is. It's another thing when you watch a video of someone who made a forest in their own backyard, who made something beautiful with their own two hands, and it works well together, and it grows, and it feeds them, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful. And that is something that motivates people. Because I said last week with ideologies that fear is what motivates them. Fear is the thing that makes you want to do something. But that's not always the case. There's another motivator, and that is beauty and the pursuit of beauty. That's motivating. Because an ideology is not enough if all it does is that is what Christianity is about, and that is what distributism is about. And that's why I believe in both. And hopefully, some of you do too.